has had a lot of moments this year that he's starting to show first-round pick worthy.
Now the Jets are down 21-7 on a 2nd and goal. What did Sam Darnold just do there?
Well, listen, you know I like to call it a little bit of magical sloppiness. This is way more sloppy than magical. Bad play by the young quarterback, and I'm blaming his coach.
Okay, beautiful.
What?
I'm happy to blame the coach, too. 4th quarter, Jets are down 9. Sam Darnold, okay, look at no one chasing the ball for the Jets. No one even looked back in the direction of the ball. This probably replaces the butt fumble as the most hideously embarrassing moment in recent memory for the New York Jets. Adam Gase looking on. And then here's Darnold. Later, sack. Dolphins get the win, their first win of the season. They beat the Jets 26-18.
Give them the Gatorade.
Brian Flores. Adam Gase, let's hear from you.
Is this embarrassing?
I mean, it's the NFL, man. It's the NFL. You can't be embarrassed by that.
Does this win validate Steve Ross's decision to fire you?
I'm not going to answer that. It's ridiculous.
All right, to give him the benefit of the doubt, I don't expect him to say, yes, it perfectly justifies the decision to fire me from the previous team. But if he wasn't embarrassed watching that yesterday, he's the only one. He's the only person wearing green, and I wore mine today purposely, who was not embarrassed watching what we saw from the Jets yesterday. And so, look, anyone who knows me or follows me on Twitter, you know what my feelings on this were. The question is, amongst a lot of people who follow this team, should the Jets fire Adam Gase?
That's not the question. The question is not should they fire him. The question is, why would you keep him? Because for me, it's 3 things. Right now, is there any fight in this football team?
No.
You just lost to a football team that is trying to lose. And I got to apologize to the Dolphins because last week, I thought they were tanking. And they come out and play hard yesterday and go fight for a win. Is your team fighting for you? No. The second thing is there any accountability right now as a leader of this football team? No. You can't stand up there and say, oh, this is the NFL, you can't be embarrassed. You should be. And the third thing, and this is probably the most damning thing, is there is massive quarterback regression from Sam Darnold. And it's not in the last year. It's in the last 3 weeks. He's 3 weeks removed from lighting up the Dallas Cowboys. And all of a sudden, he looks like a shell of himself, like he's clueless. There's no confidence in his game. Those 3 reasons, it's not a question for me anymore. You've got to prove to me why to keep him.
Well, you shouldn't have hired him in the first place. When I look at it this way, this fan base deserves a hell of a lot better than this. But I will say this. The Johnsons, don't think for a second, Chris Johnson, Woody Johnson, they don't want to win. Because I know for a fact they do. All right? And when you
Everybody
look at this,
wants to win.
Yeah, they want to win.
They don't obviously, they have not given any obvious indication they know how.
I'm going to say this right here. What did they do? They went in, they wanted to give this quarterback everything he needed to go like this. Well, guess what? It never worked. You know, this guy isn't the quarterback guru that everybody said he was. All right, here's the problem I have. A head coach needs the fan base. You need to hire a head coach that relates to that fan base. And this is New York City. This city ain't for everybody. All right, there's very few people that can handle this city. We already know who the hell who should be the guy. They should have called me, but for some reason I never got a call. But at least my team fought. You talked about it. We might have got beat, but at least we fought, and I think the people respected that. Right now, the only person that fights and plays like that is Jamal Adams, and they want to trade him.
Pat McAfee, there's only one word to describe what's going on, and I want to hear you say it.
Well, whenever you look at the way that team plays football and you look at the way that they handle press conferences and you say that you can't be embarrassed by losing to a team that's trying to lose, whenever you look at that franchise as a whole from top to bottom, there's only one word for it, and that's that the Jets stink from top to bottom. It's no other word other than that. You said everybody wants to win, they just don't know how. The Dolphins don't want to win. The Dolphins want to lose. Ryan Fitzpatrick, you can't tell him to lose. He's going to mess around and win some games for them. B-Flow knows that. He gets the Gatorade shower, but at night he's regretting it. You can't outstink the Jets, B-Flow, and that's just the way the Dolphins have to live nowadays.
You know who won yesterday? The Cincinnati Bengals. They're the ones who won that game last night.
Put up the full screen. This is Rex's point is exactly right. No one thought the Jets before the season began would be right smack in the middle of all this, but here they are with 1-7. They're in the bottom 5 of the league. Where you see the names on your screen there. Even with the win yesterday, the Dolphins still have the best odds to earn the number 1 overall pick at 37%. But I would quarrel with that because they do get to play the Jets one more time.
Okay, we had the Packers and the Chargers, and I think the theme of this one, Coach, outside of Aaron
Look how
Rodgers
cool
being
you are.
cool,
You're walking into a hornet's nest, Aaron
exactly.
Rodgers.
He was under pressure all day.
Yeah, he sure was. And guess what? The Chargers, they're getting healthy. Joey Bosa against Bakhtiari, and here it is, Brian Balaga. That's Melvin Ingram. He is back in there, but those tackles got eaten alive. They did have 50 yards at halftime. Got to be happy about that. By the way, this Charger team, hey, you're playing a home game on the road. Guess what? All your fans got to see that butt whipping. I loved it.
And they only rushed 4 every single time they were able
This
to get
best team in the NFL. You just got smoked like sod.
Offense, defense, special teams, Pat.
Thump, thump, the worst sound in a punter's life. J.K. Scott eats one right up the gut. Cuz he Tranquil made a big-time play. Cheesehead misery all over L.A.
Go back to Green Bay. I love
This is a good slice of humble pie for us. We're kind of rolling at 7-1 and starting to, listen to the chatter maybe a little too much. So I think this will be a good thing for us.
We went out there and, they basically just gave it to us. The whole game we were flat. They did a good job. Obviously, they kicked our today.
Oh, yeah, that's flat.
Exactly. Would it be a Packers season, though, if we didn't have some version of a relaxed statement from Aaron Rodgers? I mean, anything to make of this? Or just chalk it up to a bad game?
No, it was a bad game. They didn't show up. They got whooped up front, and the real thing was they allowed the Chargers to do the number one thing you can't let them do, which is they get you into second down and 8+, 9+, and then they play their zone coverage. They have all eyes on you, and then the 4 rushers. Listen, they have 2 elite rushers in Bosa and Ingram, and they put them on the same side a bunch, and the Packers never really adjusted their protection. The Packers had 10 third downs yesterday. Because of those second and longs, 10 third downs yesterday, and 9 of them were third and 9 or plus. That's, I don't care who you are, you're not going to play well, but the Chargers are built to do that. But it's not. This was just a no-show by the Packers.
No, and I get it, because it is true. These are humans. You're not always going to be up. Every fan, thinks that, you're going to do this and that. That's not the reality. We saw it with New England lose. We saw it with Green Bay lose. You're going to see it every week. All right, San Francisco's got it around the corner. So, to me, I tell you, a team that's dangerous is the Chargers, because they're finally getting their guys back. You realize now they're going to get 2 Pro Bowl safeties back that they haven't had the entire season. I love the Chargers, but I love seeing that, because that was a thorough butt whipping right there. And I love the fact that all those Green Bay fans were in there to see it.
Well, that's very interesting of you to love that type of sabotage for the fans that traveled to Los Angeles
love it, man.
from Green Bay.
Forget it. No fan base. It's BS.
This is a real thing, though, as humans, like you mentioned. To lose, get humbled, then go back to work. It's good for LaFleur. It's good for the Packers, because this is the type of thing you need early. It's better now than later for the Packers. Still have them as my favorite in the NFC, but they definitely laid an egg in the City of Angels yesterday.
And that was one of Rodgers' worst games ever yesterday. That's not going to happen much.
Yeah, sure. Okay, speaking of the NFC, we've got a big one, Monday Night Football.